Hello viewers, once again welcome to Elimu TV, which is your station where you watch and learn. I'm your tutor, Mr. Mwangi Francis, and I'll take you through chemistry form 2, and our lesson today, lesson 3, is acid, base and salts, where we are going to basically look at salts. So what is salt? By the end of this lesson, you will be able to have achieved the following goals. 1. You will be able to define what is a salt, list down the different types of salts that we have, as well as you will be able to explain the various ways in which salts are formed. What is a salt? It has been defined as an ionic compound formed when hydrogen ions from an acid is completely or partially replaced by a positively charged ion, and that gives us a salt. The positively charged ion is as well as referred to as a cation, and salts are formed when chemical reactions occur, and they also occur naturally, that is as mineral deposits on the Earth's surface. What are some of the examples of the salts that we have? From the diagram that we have here, you can see we have potassium dichromate, iron 2 sulfate, cobalt 2 chloride, calcium chloride, table salt, commonly known as sodium chloride, copper 2 sulfate, etc. There are so many different types of salt. Remember, some of them occur naturally, and we can as well as form them or prepare them in the laboratory. These salts have been classified, or they have been put into various types. We have acidic salt. These are salts that contain a replaceable hydrogen ion. Once they dissolve in water, the solution they form is acidic. It has a pH value lower than 7. We also have basic salts. These are salts that contain replaceable hydroxide ions, and their pH, once these salts dissolve in water, is above 7, meaning they are alkaline or basic in nature. We also have neutral salts, salts that do not contain any replaceable hydroxide ion or hydrogen ion. And lastly, we have what we refer to as a double salt, a salt that contains 2 replaceable cations or anions. A very good example is trona, sodium carbonate, sodium hydrogen carbonate, decahydrate. So how do we prepare salts? How can we make salt? Previously, as we looked at properties of acid and bases, we encountered this term several times, by the properties of acids. So a salt can be prepared by action of acid on a base. It can as well as be prepared through action of acid on a metal. We can as well as combine 2 elements, for instance sodium and chlorine, direct synthesis to give us a salt, and we can as well as prepare a salt using precipitation method, which is used to prepare insoluble salts. So note that the salt formed determines, or the salt to be formed determines the choice of the method to be used. So we cannot prepare maybe an insoluble salt using neutralization or action of acid on a base method. So let us look at the following example to be able to understand how we can be able to prepare copper 2 sulfate. How can we make copper 2 sulfate in the laboratory or during our day-to-day life activity? So you can make your own copper 2 sulfate. First, you need to have the reagent copper 2 oxide, which is a metallic oxide. By reacting copper 2 oxide with dilute sulfuric acid, and as the reaction takes place, you stir. You can as well as heat, so that you increase the rate of the reaction, and the salt is formed, copper 2 ions. As you can see from the observation, we have a blue color that forms. This is due to presence of copper 2 ions. So copper 2 oxide plus sulfuric acid gives us copper 2 sulfate plus water. A solution is formed, which is copper 2 sulfate, where the copper 2 ions are dissolved in water. Copper 2 oxide is an insoluble base and it reacts with the acid, giving us an acid-base neutralization reaction that gives us water, and that is copper 2 sulfate and water. So we can use this method to prepare any other soluble salt, action of acid on a base. So let's see whether we have been able to understand the concept of this lesson by answering the following questions. Define the term salt. State and explain different types of salt. You can as well as give an example, and list down at least 3 methods that are used to prepare salts in the laboratory. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Elimu TV.